Welcome to your Energy Alchemy forecast for the week of November 3rd through November 9th. We have some interesting energy this week, and in the middle of the week, it's quite quiet astrologically, but that does not mean nothing's happening. There's stuff happening behind the scenes, and we'll talk about that. The theme of the week is power plays, and that's exactly how this week is going to feel for everybody in different ways, okay? So today on Sunday the 3rd, we have Pluto, the planet of transformation. It is opposing Mars. Now, Pluto and Mars are two more abrasive or combative energies within our chart. Mars is actually the warrior, okay? Mars is the god of war. And then Pluto is the god of death. Okay, if we're talking conventional Roman mythology. Now, in our charts, we tend to see this as more of where we're ready to rush into action. It's definitely like jump on in with Mars. And then Pluto, I always say, is more like the phoenix. It comes through, it burns it all to the ground, it exposes things, etc. And so we have these two really quite hot energies that the image that I see when I think of Pluto opposing Mars is if you've ever watched Marvel's Civil War and you have like Captain America on this side and Tony Stark on this side and they're just staring each other down in the cover. That is exactly how this energy feels. And I would say this is like a crank in the heat all the way up. So just be aware that today on Sunday, that there might be some heat or aggression, and not to buy into it. As long as you're aware of it, you won't be ruled or dominated by it, okay? So that's today. Today as well, we have Mars, again, that planet of action and the warrior spirit, moving into Leo, where it will be until January 6th. So this is like Mars and Leo a little bit is kind of like a pissing contest. It's kind of like mine's bigger. Excuse my language, but even though that wasn't so graphic and I curse all the time, but that's how it feels. So I wrote down in my notes Domination Nation because it's like a dog that passes the fire hydrant and just like has to trickle out that tiny little bit of pee so that somebody knows that they were there and they can dominate that fire hydrant. That's Mars and Leo on more of the shadow side. But honestly, Mars being so actionable and Leo being a heart-centered leader, this is also a really great time, especially because it will be in this energy through the holidays. It is now November 3rd as this video comes out, and Mars moves into Leo, and it will be there until January 6th, which means through the holiday season. So this is actually like a really nice energy to round everybody together because Leo rules over the pride. It keeps everybody all together. We are one pride. So whoever your family is, your found family, chosen family, people like family, doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be family of blood. It is a really great time to like use this very assertive energy of Mars to make plans, especially because we're moving into winter where we're slowing down and we're not going to be making plans as much. So this is some nice energy to support us through the holiday season. On Monday, tomorrow, we've got the Sun trining Saturn. Now, this is a fortuitous aspect, okay, and it feels like a meet in the middle. So the Sun currently in Scorpio ruling over the depth of the ocean. Okay, we are talking about like the part of the ocean where the anglerfish hangs out, where the billionaires die. Okay, we are talking about the part of the ocean that is not affected by the tide or the motion up top. Now, all of this, by the way, that's Cancer energy. But Saturn is currently in Pisces. Now, Saturn is our karmic boot camp instructor. This is a really lovely energy going through quite dreamy Pisces. It can get lost in a fantasy and not see reality even. And so Pisces, as far as water goes, is like what is being evaporated. It goes up into ether, okay? It is a little bit more of an airy water. So we have this really nice energy of these two water signs, but they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, okay? Because Pisces is all the way up here evaporating, and Scorpio is like at the bottom of the ocean floor. And the fact that they're trining feels like a meet in the middle. So this is also, especially because so much of the week feels like a power play, or feels like those two, Captain America, Iron Man face off, right? Like, because of that energy, this is a really lovely day where it feels like we can actually maybe gain some clarity about something and how to meet somebody in the middle, or meet a scenario in the middle. All right. And then Tuesday through Friday, we don't really have any astrology, but Tuesday here in America is election day. So I do have a meditation for this. It's nonpartisan, for the soul of the nation. So if you feel like you need a little extra support, and that's why I say there's not much happening as far as like Tuesday through Friday goes astrologically, but that doesn't mean that stuff's not happening, because the collective consciousness around this election is still going to be heightened, in the same way that in the new year, when there's all this mojo to like start a new life because we've turned the calendar year, and then that dies out. Yes, it dies out because it's winter and we are not supposed to be starting new things in the middle of the season of rest. But the collective consciousness around the excitement of the new year creates this feeling within us. And that's what helps us get into that space. So there is going to be collective energy that's unfolding Tuesday, probably through Friday, if we're being honest. The cosmos perhaps gave us a little bit of a break, because Tuesday through Friday, I'm sure by the time they certify the election, it won't be until the weekend anyway. So we may have a few days where we're really kind of stuck in this energy, and not stuck in the energy, I don't mean to say it like that, but it's not like election day is going to come and go on November 5th and we're not going to be in that energy. Election day is going to come, and I'm recording this months in advance, so I don't even know. Maybe stuff is already unfolding. But as far as the astrology goes, no astrology, but that doesn't mean, it's almost like the cosmos gave us a break so that Tuesday through Friday, likely while they're certifying the election, there is not a lot of external stuff that is influencing, okay? And then on Saturday, to round the week out, we have Venus, which is the planet of our emotional height and love and the feminine passion, right? It is squaring, so making a little bit more of a challenge aspect to Neptune, which is, again, that dreamy, sort of elusive, even delusional energy. And so especially coming out of the election and with the idea of this week being power plays, stay grounded. That is how I feel about this. Neptune can get caught up and then swept away in the fantasy. It can stick those rose-colored glasses right on, okay? And while it's doing that, Venus almost expands that a little bit because we're putting our emotions and our passion into it. So this feels so much more collective than it does on a personal note. I mean, wherever you have these energies in your chart is really going to be where it's impacting. But truly, this feels like on a collective level, just stay grounded, especially because Saturday is probably the day that they're going to be certifying the election. If I had to guess, months in advance based off of years prior. So Saturday is probably going to be when we have our official certification. And so stay grounded, keep connected to your, and I'm not saying be facetious or blow it off or don't care about politics. You should care about these things. You should care about what's happening to our country. You should have a stake in the ground about the future of our nation, but stay grounded as you are gleaning the results. Okay. That's kind of how it feels to me. So I know that's a little bit more on the collective scale, but let's jump into our readings. Okay. So this is pile number 1. And this is where we are experiencing the power plays in our personal life and what to do about it, okay? Pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3. Okay. Lovely. Pile number 1. Okay. Power plays, oh, this is so interesting. Enlightenment, but I'm getting Peter Pan vibes. Ooh, I'm getting Peter Pan vibes. Okay. Power plays around enlightenment. It's almost like there is a piece of information that you don't know that you need to become aware of in order to make a decision for your highest good, especially saying this in the beginning of the week before we have election day. If you have not already voted, if you are going to vote on actual election day, you're not going to do early voting. But there is something really in this energy that feels to me like, especially because I saw Peter Pan, which is like never grow up. It's like grow up, get the facts, and go and learn something. That is enlightenment. You don't need to rely on other people. That is how somebody power plays you. And the card that you got is 10 of Wands. And if you see up top, it says oppression. People will keep you stuck by assuming that you are not educated about a topic. That could be government, that could be work, that could be relationships. It does not matter. If you are somebody who delegates the power of knowledge, the power of knowledge that you have, if you are somebody who delegates that power of knowledge out to other people, you have lost and you have created self-oppression. The best thing that you could do for yourself is keep yourself educated, especially if it's something you don't know about. And instead of just watching a 30-second clip about something or hearing something that is said, over the water cooler at work and just taking that gossip and spewing it out somewhere else, you need to learn to become a fact finder so that you can discern truth from fiction. And that is true enlightenment. Okay, so that is you, pile number 1. Okay, pile number 2. Okay, love this. Power plays around simplicity. Oh, I just got chills. My mentor always says, keep it simple, stupid. And it's almost like by doing too much, you are creating extra chaos. It's almost like a power play against yourself. Could be your higher self, especially because there's this feather here in spirit, and your lower self, the earth self, that ego. It doesn't particularly matter. This feels like a self-combat, like you are creating a power play within. Oh my gosh, it's actually amazing. Look at the card that you got. You got the strength card. It was reversed, but I want to hold it upright so you can see, because you can see that wolf, right? If you've ever heard the story or like the anecdote of there were 2 wolves inside of the man, one who gave way to the wildness and one who domesticated almost. I'm paraphrasing that anecdote. Go look the anecdote up, because I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but this idea of like 2 wolves warring within one's self, that is exactly what is happening here. It is like you are overcomplicating things for yourself when you need to just take things out of the equation and make them more simple. And that's how you're actually going to have a process of transformation. You're creating too much noise. You can't even hear what's going on. You can't see clearly because you're putting too many things on your plate. It's like you're like Thanksgiving. You're putting too many things on the plate and the gravy's running all over the place. And then everything tastes like gravy. Okay, for some people that's cool. And for you, if that's cool, just pretend that it's not for the story. Because there is something about this that's like you're doing too much and you need to just cut some things out so that it becomes a clearer path towards your own success. Okay? That is for you, pile number 2. Pile number 3, I'm just gonna 15. Okay, great. Pile number 3. Ooh, power plays. Ooh, I just got chills. Abundance, but the card that you get is the 2 of Cups. This is about partnership, what you consider romantic. It's a power play within the relationship, and it's not a bad thing. It's just a discrepancy. and particularly probably around money. Power plays around money. Um, you may need to find that you keep your money separate from your partner for a period of time, especially if it's new, so that you're able to get on track for both of you in the way that feels right and true for both of you. Alternatively, it could be power plays around how something unfolds financially, like, for example, like around a wedding or a party or something like that. And it's like, oh, I thought we were going to do it like this, but it turns out like you just went ahead and greenlit something that like I didn't necessarily agree to. But it's also abundance of love and these like in this very sweet way. It could even be like this power play of like, I love you more, I love you more, you hang up first, no, you hang up first. Like it can almost be this very young, new experience of love. So pay attention to that this week, okay? My dear friends from pile number 3, not the most egregious thing, but something to be aware of, especially if it's around money. All right, everybody, stay calm, stay cool, stay collected as we move through election day this week, and I will see you next week.